Streaming on the ESPN app, The Low Post.
There's a funny thing we've been doing on the radio show where Stugotz ends every interview, no matter who we're talking to, by saying who wins, 86 Celtics or 97 Bulls. But here's Mike Wilbon talking about a different scenario. You know, Wilbon loves to go after millennials for any reason, and he's being asked here, his beloved Michael Jordan, how would he do against the Kevin Durant Warriors? Keep in mind, no one who played basketball like Kevin Durant existed during Michael Jordan's time. That's an extraterrestrial evolution that we hadn't seen before. So let's hear Wilbon here on this subject.
It became, how are you going to score when Harper, Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman are 4 or 5 guys on the court? Fine. You go at Longley or you go at Kukoc, and the other 4 guys are going to be there helping and swiping at passing lanes. Like, what are you going to do?
Well, that's why when people start talking about the Warriors, well, the Warriors would kill the Bulls. Shut the F up.
Wow.
Who thinks that? The Warriors couldn't kill the Bulls. How could they?
Well, none of those teams are going to kill any of those other teams.
No,
that's
right.
the answer.
It's going to be competition. And so the first thing when I tell people to shut up is just stop. Nobody's going to kill Michael Jordan's team ever. Now, you got Jordan, Rodman, Pippen, Harper. You got they couldn't guard every position? People think guarding positions and switching. The Bulls didn't switch because they didn't have to. It wasn't played that way then. You got on your man and you stayed in his butt. But when you have those 4 guys out there, I'm sorry, who's going to guard them? Who's going to guard Michael and Scotty?
The game has changed a number of different ways, and one of the ways that it has changed is that Magic Johnson went an entire season where he went 0 for 21 from 3. The Warriors are better at the shot. Value has more value. But what do you think, Pablo? Are you intrigued?
I am intrigued. What's funny to me about this stuff, though, is that it's only ever briefly a sports argument. It pretty quickly goes into my dad can beat up your dad, or in Wilbon's case, it seems I am a dad who can beat up your kids. That's what this all feels like. No one actually knows anything or cares anything about how do we sort out a basketball game between 2 time-traveling teams. Those questions are never really settled. Instead, it comes down to, I believe, butts and toughness, which is just some of the words I heard in that word cloud there.
That is right. How about you, Mina? Could your dad beat up anyone else's dad?
I don't know, man. I mean, dads are pretty good at arm wrestling, but it kind of stops there. I don't know, like, if it translates beyond that. We had Mike Wilbon on the daily podcast to talk about Last Dance, and he was a delight. But one of my favorite moments was when he mounted the argument that back in the day, nobody did hot takes. People actually watched the game and did the research. There were no hot takes. Then I want to say it was like less than 10 minutes later, he said, I would never pay actual money to watch James Harden play basketball. I think he used the word disgust there. It was like within a span of 10 minutes. It was just like an incredible dismount and just amazing stuff.
Can we get into the time travel rules here, though? Like, what is the setting? Because if you have one team that is from the mid-90s and you have the other team from 2017, can, Draymond Green lean in close to Michael Jordan and just, drain a 3 over him? Is that allowed?
Yes. The classic multiverse problem. I'm so glad you brought this up, Pablo, right? Like when you're on 2 different time loops and then one time loop merges with the other time loop. Pablo and I spend a lot of time on Westworld Reddit, if it's not obvious.
What happens when Steve Kerr sees himself? What happens when Coach Steve Kerr looks at guard Steve Kerr? And he knows what befalls guard Steve Kerr in the future.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.